Are you looking to save money while abroad? Then you've come to the right video. We're going to share our top 5 tips to save money wherever you are. Stick around and let's turn your international adventure into a money-saving opportunity.
We're the Gray Harper family, and since 2016, our family of 6 has been living abroad. With years of experience, tips, and insights, we're here to guide anyone else considering this life-changing journey. Stick around to discover how to turn your income into a passport anywhere in the world, unlocking the ultimate geographical freedom.
Now that you know a little bit about us, the first thing you can do is actually while you're still at home before you travel anywhere. You can go and open a Charles Schwab bank account now. And the benefit of this is that you can withdraw money internationally with no international fees. It will work anywhere that a Visa works as well. So most places, including in Mexico, you can simply pay directly from your US Charles Schwab bank account.
The other thing about Schwab bank accounts are they give back ATM fees, and they will even give back Mexican bank ATM fees. So the ATM fee that Mexican banks charge, we haven't found another bank that does that.
Yeah, they will accumulate these and give that to you in one lump sum at the end of every month. So it's truly been the best bank account we could use, not just while living abroad, but also when we do any international travel.
So the second thing you can do to save money, especially in Mexico, is to shop locally. While there are Walmarts, Bed Bath & Beyonds, a whole bunch of different companies that we all know and love as Americans, if you're going to do shopping, you need to look at the local stores and the mercados first, because you're almost always going to get a better deal. We have saved thousands buying furniture from local markets, from buying food at local markets, and getting the best deals that we possibly can. Normally, brand name stores that we're used to, that is a bit more comfortable, that you might want to go into, will be a bit more expensive because you will be paying for the importation fees or for that big brand to manufacture somewhere other than Mexico. So once you stop shopping locally, you'll save quite a bit of money.
And this doesn't include little things. Another thing we discovered when moving to Mexico is they have little items called fruterias or carnicerias. These are specialty shops, locally owned, that just sell your meat in your carniceria, or your fruteria, which is fresh fruit and vegetables. It's very common for these to be scattered all around wherever you're staying, and simply walking in and shopping there for a day or two of meals is definitely the best way to go. And here in Mexico, we've actually discovered that eating fresh is more affordable.
The other part of this is not just shopping locally, but also eating locally. If you eat at tiendas, if you eat at taquerias, if you eat at the stands, if you buy corn, all these different places, there's even ice cream stands. These stands will be far cheaper if you eat that way than going to either big box grocery stores or even into like bigger restaurants. If you're able to eat local, find a local vendor, find a local restaurant, those will always be cheaper and save you quite a bit of money, especially if you're a family that's larger than most families.
The next one's going to be a little controversial for North Americans. We are strongly going to suggest canceling your current cell phone plan and getting a Mexico AT&T plan when you come here. The first reason is you're going to save money. It's about half the cost. We just renewed Zach's cell phone plan for the year. It cost us 4,800 pesos. And in today's conversion, that's about $280 US for a year's cell phone plan. They were running a special to double the data plan available, so he has 8 gigs of data every month available to him. And in addition to, there are certain social media apps that don't count against your data.
Yeah, I get unlimited talk. I can call anywhere in North America. I can call Canadian, I can call US, I can be in the US, I can be in Canada. My phone will work. I get unlimited texting. So if I choose to do texting, that's unlimited. And then I get unlimited Facebook, Twitter, and I believe TikTok. But a lot of different social medias, and they have them all listed, don't count towards my gigabytes of data. The only one that I really use data for whatsoever is YouTube.
And the last one that's still included is WhatsApp. And please click the link below for us to explain what WhatsApp is, or the top 5 apps we use while living abroad. But WhatsApp doesn't count towards data either.
So our next saving tip is understanding your electrical bill. We have a lot of utility bills. Obviously, everyone's used to it. Water, electricity. We just talked about cell phones. And by far and away, the most expensive, or what could be the most expensive, is your CFB or your electrical bill.
Mexico is very energy conservative, and the more you use, the more you pay. They've created different tiers based on your consumption and charge more per kilowatt if you're a high user. So as long as you stay below a certain threshold, you will pay the minimum rate per kilowatt. If you are deemed a high consumer, you will pay more per kilowatt compared to other users.
Yeah, so basically once we as a family of 6 met that threshold, because in the United States, you just pay a flat rate, no matter how much you use or what you use. And yes, your bill will go up the more you use, but it doesn't like exponentially go up. So we were deemed a high user rate, and all of a sudden we were paying 3 times the amount per kilowatt than we normally would. So we went from having a $300 every 2-month bill, so basically $150 a month, all the way up to about $1,000 for 2 months of electrical bills. So once we learned this and knew and found out about this, we started to A, pay more attention to electricity, and B, there are a couple of different things that you can do, like you can set up 2 or even 3 meters at your household. And yes, you have to pay CFE for that, but at least you can then have less usage on each meter. The second thing you can do is once you get into that 3X tier, you have to have 2 consecutive bills below that before the 3rd bill will get you back down into the normal usage. When we talk about these billing cycles, they're a full 2 months. So it would take 6 months essentially for you to see a lowered bill. And while you're paying 3 times the kilowatts, that can become very expensive. So understanding your CFE bill and knowing that you can actually change the name on the account and set up a new account, and you would start back at the normal rate. So there's lots of tips and tricks around your electrical bill, but the biggest thing is really talking and understanding where that threshold is and being energy conservative, because it is the one bill here in Mexico that can, especially for larger families, start to really pile onto you.
Yeah, and the tip and trick that Zach mentioned that we want to really reiterate, especially if you start renting first, which is very common, that's what we've been doing while in Mexico, is renting. The person you're renting from can choose to keep the electrical bill in their name. That means if they've been a long-term rentee and you've had multiple tenants, if a previous tenant has been a high consumer, then you're going to be paying that high consumer rate the moment you step in. A way to get around this is to go change that utility to your name. It's a very common practice. You can simply go into any CFE storefront and ask to change it, stating that you're the new tenant there, and it will start you at ground zero in that consumer rate.
Yeah, and when you go in and you're creating your first bill and you have a situation to where you have a spouse or a significant other, only put one person's name on it. That way, if you get back into that 3X range, you can always go back into CFE and say it's in my name. We can switch it and put it into Whit's name and try to stay below it and juggle it in that general fashion and keep you out of the high usage rate.
Here is our last tip, and again, it's easy to do. You can do it instantaneously, whether you're traveling or living, and it sounds super scary when we tell you to do it at first because it goes against everything coming from the United States, and that is decline that conversion rate when you go to the ATM.
I think this is probably our biggest money saver. We didn't know this the first 1.5, 2 years while we were here. And when we went back and calculated what it cost us not having this information, it was pretty gut-wrenching.
It was. So we'll do a whole video and show you how an ATM looks. Although most ATMs now in Mexico give you the option to be in English or Spanish. But when you're going through your normal transaction, asking how many pesos you want to pull because you're going to pull the local currency, it will give you a suggested conversion rate, stating this is how many pesos you've asked for, this is how many US dollars we, as this ATM bank provider, are willing to give you. Do you accept this conversion rate? And you can simply state no, decline conversion, and then your local bank will dictate the conversion that you actually receive.
Yeah, what they don't tell you, and if you get an ATM that converts to English and really read through it, you can start to read the language that they use. But most banks here will have a markup somewhere between 12 to 15%, the daily conversion rate. So basically, if let's say the peso's at 17 pesos per dollar, they're going to say that it's actually even a little bit more, 15% more, and that's the conversion you're going to accept. As Americans, we have learned anytime you click decline during an ATM transaction, your transaction's over, it's going to spit your card out and get the heck away from the machine. This is simply not the case. When you decline the conversion, you're putting the rates into your local bank's hands, and there's not a markup on that conversion because your bank won't be marking it up. We have tested this out to where we've gone and did the exact same pull within 2 minutes of each other, and the markup is absolutely at that 12 to 15%. So if you pull 1,000 pesos, it could be as expensive as 120 to 150 pesos that you're paying that bank in fees, which it adds up, especially because Mexico is a country of cash or efectivo. There's a lot of different services, there's a lot of different companies that will only take cash, so you're constantly pulling money from the ATM. And this tip right here in itself will save you thousands.
So we hope these tips and tricks have helped you. And if you'd like more information about living abroad, especially as a family, please like and subscribe.